Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Motivational speaker, the comeback coach, and goal crusher Joe Rivera brings you inspiring leaders, incredible stories, and valuable lessons on how you can change, grow, and reforge your life. Now, here's your host, Joe Rivera.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Reforge Your Life Show. I'm your host, Joe Rivera. And here at the Reforge Your Life Show, we like to show you that the comeback is more than possible. And today, I'm super excited about the guest that I'm bringing onto the show. He's a transformational keynote speaker. He's an audiobook publisher and coach. Robert A. Lane, welcome to the show, man. I'm excited to have you here.
Hey, Joe, how's it going? Glad to be here. And yeah, man, looking good.
Awesome, man. Things are going great, man. Blessed another day. We woke up this morning, we're winning, Robert. So, Robert, I've done some research, heard your story also, and man, I know it's powerful, but there's no way that I could tell your story or anybody can tell your story as good as you can. So I'd love for you to share with the audience your story and let them know a little bit more about Robert A. Lane.
Sure. I've worked 30 plus years in the entertainment industry. That was my career. Started off in radio, and then worked in other various facets of the business, ending my career with 14 years working at 20th Century Fox in Los Angeles on the studio lot. As a feature project manager. And my career in the entertainment industry ended not by my choice. Disney bought Fox in a huge acquisition deal a few years ago. And by, I think it was around March of 2020, the Disney lawyers come into our department and they offer you two choices. Either they keep you and you now work for Disney, you no longer work for Fox, or they fire you and they let you go. And so I was on the first round of firings. And so I knew, okay, well, there's definitely going to be a major life change happening here. So my last official day working for Fox was on June 30th of 2020. So out of a job and just full on into a pandemic. So this was an interesting situation. So it was time to reinvent myself in a sense. I wanted to do something that had more purpose. And I knew I didn't want to go back to the corporate world. I worked 30 plus years in the industry, loved doing it. That was my true north path. That was what I was meant to do. But it was different now. I had a different drive. And so I opted to take the riskiest choice and become an entrepreneur and create Robert Lane Coaching as a career coach and life coach. And through that process, I had a lot of people approach me and say, hey, Robert, you worked all these years in the entertainment industry. You must have some stories to tell. So then I thought about it. I thought, well, actually, I kind of do. But I wanted to take it one step further. I wanted to make it more valuable than just to, write a book about, behind the scenes working in the industry. So I did. I wrote a book called Lights, Action, You. And I share stories about working in the industry, but with each story, I wanted to tie in what I was doing as a career and life coach. So a tool or technique or life lesson so that whoever reads the book can be entertained, but can now take something more valuable from it to apply it to their life, maybe in their work life and maybe in their home life or both. So that turned out really well. And of course, being an audio guy, had to do the audiobook version, which I did. But it was great because I had other authors approach me and say, man, I want to narrate my own audiobook. I wrote this great nonfiction book and I want to tell my own story. And I saw that there was a huge need for this. And that's why I created and expanded my coaching business to create an audiobook coaching program, which is called Your Book, Your Voice, to help authors show them how to set up their own recording space, narrate their own audiobook, get them published on Audible, Amazon, and Apple, and have the world hear them tell their story in their own voice. And like you say, no one can tell your story better than you, and that's so true. The author is the most qualified person to narrate their own audiobook, better than another narrator, because no matter how great that narrator is, it's still their interpretation. So they may not tell the story the way that you as the author would express it and tell it, because the author lived it. They breathed it. That's their story. So I'm a big advocate of having authors narrate their own audiobook, which brings me to what I do today.
That is awesome, man. And listen, I'm a big fan also of, authors reading their own book. I think it gives it a different energy.
Yeah.
When it's the actual author who wrote the book reading it and then someone else who reads it. Man, I think it definitely changes up the energy 100%. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I mean, man, to go from working in the entertainment business for Disney one day and then the next day not having a job and not knowing where you're going to go and what you're going to do. I kind of want to dig into that a little bit. What was going through your mind when you lost the job and you didn't know that you were going to be a coach? I mean, I'm sure it didn't come into play immediately. I'm sure there was a lot that had to get uncovered before that came about. So walk us through that process and what that looked like.
Sure. So by March of 2020, I knew, obviously, that my days were numbered. So I had from March until June 30th, my last day at Fox, to kind of figure out things and just think about them in the back of my mind. And again, I knew I didn't want to go back into the corporate world. That I knew. Now, I love the entertainment business, which is why I stuck with it for so many years. But that drive to, okay, let's find another entertainment job just wasn't there. Like I said, I wanted to do something that had more purpose. So, I could have looked for another job. But now you have Disney, who fired a ton of people. So there's this huge amount of qualified people all clamoring for this very small, finite amount of work that was available. And I didn't want to be clawing and scratching for work that way anymore. I just didn't have that desire. So I knew that there had to be a major change. I mean, I would have loved to retire early, but that wasn't feasible. So I still wanted to work, and I felt that there was still something that I can do. And again, I wanted to do something that had more purpose and had more meaning to help people. And taking all that experience that I've had working in various facets of the industry and seeing dealing with bad bosses, learning how to time manage, how to build confidence in what you do with your job. There's so many things, so many facets, and I thought, well, taking this experience and then learning the tools to become a career coach and life coach, and then being able now to share that and help others, really resonated. And it's like, okay, this is my new path, and there really was an aha moment. There was that one day where I was, I've been trying to figure out what am I going to do, but then it was, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm all in, 100%. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to make this work. And Joe, as you know, as an entrepreneur, not an easy job, right? It's not an easy job, or else everybody be doing it. But when things are great, man, you're flying high, right? Things are awesome. But we go through a lot of times where we're scraping bottom of the barrel, and we may go a month, 2, 3, 4, 6 months with zero income, and you're working hard and you're just doing all this work for your business, and it's just, you feel like you're flatline, like nothing's happening. But back in your mind, that the work that you're putting in, it is working. You just have to be patient, And trust me, there's many times where I'd be like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm throwing in the towel, no more. But that little voice in the back of my head would say, hey, Robert, did you exhaust every single possibility to make this business work? Have you tried every single option to make your business work? And of course, the answer was always no. There's always something else that you can do or try. And what that taught me was you have to be resilient. You have to have tenacity. and you don't give up. It's like that age-old story of the miner who's mining for gold, and he's not getting anything, and he's not getting anything, and then he stops and quits, and then sells his claim, and then the next miner goes in and he mines for like one day, and he hits the mother lode. If you keep going, you're going to hit the mother lode. You just have to be resilient.
Don't quit before the miracle.
That's right. That's right.
And it takes a special person to be an entrepreneur. I mean, what we do, it's not easy, but the reward on the other side is what makes it all worth it. When you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, when you start seeing the impact that you can make through your work and your business, is where it becomes fruitful, and you're like, damn it, thank God I didn't give up. So Robert, when you decided that, because I want the audience to pick up on this, because I believe that it is possible to have more than one purpose in life, right? And it's because you mentioned that you had a purpose in the entertainment business, you fulfilled that purpose, and then now you're starting to go into another purpose, and you've been one of those people that's blessed to have more than one purpose. I feel that I was also. So that's why I'm bringing this up, and I want the audience to understand the challenge here, because you're leaving an industry that you've been doing for, how long were you in?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years,
Yeah.
You've been doing something in your life. It becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
It's something that drove you. It's something that you had purpose in. And, one day, it wasn't taken away from you, right? I mean, you lost your job, but you could have gone back out, scratched and clawed for another job. But you said, nah, you know what? I'm going to let go of something that I'm comfortable with. And I'm going to go be uncomfortable learning something new. What was that challenge like, to be able to have to let go of something you've been doing for 30 years? You're good at it. You could make money in it, to go into the unknown.
Yeah, that was tough, because I love what I did, and honestly, to this day, I still have my finger in it a little bit. Once in a while, I'll get a call from somebody who wants some audio post-production work done on their short film, or they need music to be composed for their film or something. And, if I have the space to do it, I'll still do it. Because it's just, I love doing it. And so I do keep my hand in it a little bit. But it really was a challenge to let it go, and just know and trust your instincts, trust your intuition, trust that you are on the path that you need to be on. And my path, again, was not pointing towards the entertainment industry. So it's be able to let go and be able to release that and say, you know what, you did serve your purpose for that. And now all these skills and all the things that you've learned throughout those 30 years, right? Those 30 years of working in the business, you can now apply some of this to a different business, but then still have even more purpose by helping others being able to navigate through their work environment, or maybe even their personal life. And to me, that's the real reward. The reward is for example, once an author narrates their audiobook and then they hear it and then it gets published and they're like in tears. I've had authors going, I listened to my audiobook and it brought me to tears. And to me, that's fantastic, because what that tells me is that an author who has no speaking experience was able to tell their story and bring the emotion and bring the energy through, and their personality and everything that encompasses them about who they are, their authenticity. And they tell this story and it moves them emotionally, and it's going to move somebody else emotionally who hears their story. And that's the reward for me, because now they can go out and they can share a story that can help and touch others and reach others. Just like I had a purpose to help them to be able to do their purpose. That's the reward.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And for the audience out there, and the audience, the people who've been watching, episode after episode or listening to episode after episode, there's a common theme that you're hearing in all of these successful entrepreneurs who come onto the show. And every single one of them says how helping people was a part of their success, being of service.
Yeah.
And being able to help someone move the needle in their life. And man, you speak about, helping people bring out their story the same way you're able to bring out yours and share your story to help people. And I just want the audience to realize, man, like, if you have a story out there, your story doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people out there that you're going to be able to create impact for.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody out there who could benefit from your struggles, from your challenges, and your story of life that helped you catapult to that next level. Robert, I'm curious. Speaking of challenges and things that you had to go through, this transition into a new business, a new life, a new world. Because going from working, a job where you're working for someone, becoming an entrepreneur, it's a whole nother world, right? And through this transition, I know that there's been challenges and there's been beliefs that had to get cracked through, right? Like a belief system that you had to be able to build a new belief system that you now have. What were some of those limited beliefs that you were faced with, or maybe, you're still faced with? Because I believe limited beliefs come up throughout our whole life. We just learn how to overcome them and challenge them back, I should say.
Yeah.
Because that little the critic we learn how to overcome.
Yeah, that is something that I deal with. I'm sure everybody does. We all have limiting beliefs. We all create in our minds false beliefs, and we need to crush those false beliefs. And a lot of times, those false beliefs say, a lot of, I can't do this, or whatever. I can't is such a powerful two words. I can't, right? That's very powerful. Just remove that NT, you got I can, another set of very powerful words. But the thing is, a lot of times we do that because our subconscious wants us to be comfortable. It's like a protector. Oh, you don't want to do that because it's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to put you in a situation that maybe you're not familiar with. It's going to make you feel like there's a possibility for failure. We don't want failure. We want things to be stable and easy and whatever. However, that doesn't move the needle forward. It kind of keeps us stuck. And a lot of times what happens is your limited beliefs or your false beliefs do stem from a lot of fears. A lot of time it does come down to the fear factor. So the thing to do is to strip away those layers. Like, let's get down to the root cause of what is it that is stopping you? What is that barrier? What is that wall? What is that fear? There's something that I teach and talk about in regards to dealing with fear, and I have a little catchphrase that's called "Face it, embrace it, purge it, replace it."
I love it, man. I love it. I always say that, fear could stand for two things, right? It could be fuck everything and run, or face everything and reforge, right? And, that saying of, fear being like false evidence that appears as real, I just think it's kind of bullshit, because fear is real. It's not fake. It's not something that it comes from somewhere, right? But, learning to face your fears is the only way that you're going to overcome your fears. You're not going to face them by running away from them. You're not going to overcome them by running away from them. The only way you're going to overcome them is by taking it head on. And you mentioned something that's important. The fears they don't always go away. They might come back. But once you learn to face it that first time and you start to overcome some of those fears, you learn how to overcome the other fears or the same fear when it comes up if you faced it before and overcame it, because you have that reminder that's built in your system at that point, man. Very, very good point. Very, very good point to talk about it, write it down. It's important to get it off your mind and out of inside of you and bringing it outside is so vital, man. And yeah, man, those limited beliefs, I would say maybe 80 to 90% comes from fear. So it's very, very true. Very good point. And I believe that once we crack through those limited beliefs and learn how to destroy them and put them to the side, at least I should say, because sometimes they do come back up. I believe that there's core values that are uncovered when we break a belief system and build a new one that help us be able to dig in when those beliefs do come back up, when those fears do come back up. There's core values that we kind of could lean into to help us overcome those beliefs and those fears. For me, one of them is faith, right? I believe that you lean into your faith to overcome fear, because faith and fear could be looked as the same thing, right? It could be something you can't touch, you can't feel, but you know it exists. I rather lean into faith to overcome that fear and overcome those old beliefs. Gratitude shifts perspective and being aware of the gifts that your creator gave you to be able to go and create your own destiny. That is awesome. Yeah, man. Listen, if you got a story inside you and you want to let that story out, check out my man Robert A. Lane, man, to help you with that and help you create the story that is going to be able to create impact out there to people who need to hear your story. And for all the listeners and viewers out there today, please don't forget LFSS, like, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, share the episode, because there's somebody out there today that's not listening to the episode and they're looking to reforge their life, whether it's in their business, their finances, their health, their relationships, and they don't have the tools. They don't know where to start. And you sharing this episode or the past episodes could help them reforge their life today. So please don't forget to share, stay productive, stay profitable, and stay blessed, y'all.
You've been listening to Reforge Your Life with your host, Joe Rivera. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Joe Rivera and how he can help you or your organization reforge your life and regain your place at the top, head on over to withjoerivera.com and follow Joe on all social platforms. The Reforge Your Life podcast was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.